related in our policy development process. So the policy face-to-face meetings like this one happen twice a year, one at around this time and the other around November. So welcome all, welcome everybody, and glad to see that we are half. The room has about half occupancy. I think everybody else is still having breakfast or late, but we hope that it will be it will be quite a vibrant day. So today we have Dewole Ajao from Nigeria, one of our co-chairs for the Policy Development Working Group. He is assisted by the other co-chair, but remotely, Sami from Sudan. Sami could not travel. He has a wedding on Saturday, I guess. So he could not travel, but he is with Dewole online. And let nobody say Sami is not here. He's actually here, but you can't see him. So I think without wasting much time, oh yeah, I have another small announcement. Tomorrow is the annual general members meeting, and in that meeting there will be some elections. That meeting is restricted to members, although some observers could join in, but for those that want to vote in that meeting and do not want to vote online, we have the member services help desk right outside where you can go register yourself to vote in tomorrow's AGMM. So most of today, there are staff there willing to receive you, only members. So please, if you know you're not an AFRINIC member, don't join the queue because you can't be given ballots. Your company will be checked whether it's in good standing and whether you're the contact. If you have been issued a proxy, if one member has given you a proxy to attend the meeting on their behalf, carry that proxy to the member services help desk so that it can also be verified. We shall stop giving out ballots for the AGMM tomorrow at 10 in the morning. So make sure by that time you have fully exercised your right to get the ballots to be able to participate. So without wasting more time, let me hand over to Dewole, who will take us through the rest of the day. Dewole along with Sami, who is in remotely. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ernest. Good morning once again, ladies and gentlemen. As introduced, I'm Dewole Ajao. I would be your chair, your in-room chair for this session. And as announced, we have elections at the end of this meeting. So this would be my last meeting as your co-chair. Very quickly, here's an overview of today's agenda. This has been circulated on the mailing lists. It's also available on the Internet Summit website. We're some 10 minutes behind right now. We'll try to catch up. Very important notes. I really hope that everybody in this room is quite familiar with the policy development process and is or has been following the conversations online. This is just a quick description of the policy development process in AFRINIC. Anyone may submit a proposal. Anyone may participate in discussions online. And today we'll be discussing some 10 policy proposals. The origin of those proposals is just like this. And you submit a proposal on the RPD list. We discuss it online for a minimum of 4 weeks. Then we come to a face-to-face meeting like this one where we are today, and you can see you are here at the public policy meeting. If there's no consensus on the policy proposal, it goes back to the RPD list for discussion. If there is consensus on, or rough consensus on it, then it goes back to the RPD list for a last call for comments, just in case there are some issues or individuals who did not get a chance to contribute. If it's fine and that consensus status is still preserved, and we have a proper consensus, then the PDWG co-chairs would send a ratification to the board of directors. and the board of directors simply look at the policy proposal process, the process that the policy proposal has gone through, to see if the PDP was followed. If it has been followed, then the policy proposal becomes a policy that the company, AFRINIC, implements in administration of internet number resources. We've been asked a question about this in the past. What happens if the board does not ratify? It would probably be rare, since the whole process of doing this goes through the public list where everyone is aware. So whatever issue it is that the board could have picked up at that point would most likely have been picked up before it gets to the ratification point. So we will start right off with a policy implementation experience report. Yes, please, Kisan. Please go ahead, Alan. Can we have that mic active, please?
Okay, good. Alain Ayina, Wakren CTO. I'm just curious to know how you guys made the decision of the order of the policy to be discussed today, because as co-author, we have not been in the discussion on the order or how the policy should be discussed today. But we saw in the agenda that the policy you set in order for the policy discussions. I want to know the rationale, or how do you usually make decisions on that?
Okay, it's inaccurate to say you've not been in the discussion on how the order was done. A draft agenda was sent to the RPD, of which you're a member and a contributor, and comments were made regarding the order. Now, the only items that some consideration was made for where there's a policy proposal for multi-homing not required for ASN. Now, we believe that that's a pretty straightforward policy proposal. So if we can save any time on that policy proposal, then we can put two other short policy proposals. There are two policy proposals from Jody touching on the same issue. If you look at the timing, you'll see that instead of giving 30 minutes to both proposals, they're given 15 minutes each. Now, we could have put any other policy proposal just before the break, but I believe that any time we save before a break usually is consumed within the break. So we put those together and shoved them up before the first break. Everything else, the only thing was, well, Jody has a couple of proposals there. We don't want people seeing and talking to Jody all day and they get tired before they get to listen to other authors. I hope that answers your question. Please go ahead, Kisan.